took a class. Thank you. Um, he took a class, I think it's over Zoom, but it's about genealogy and it runs from now until April, every Tuesday. So she's busy. But all right. I first off I'd like to say, well, we lost somebody. We did have 10 people come back.
10.
Yeah, we had
Yeah,
10
good.
people.
I
Who did
counted
you-
7.
No, we had
No.
10.
Yeah, 10.
I see 9 right now.
I see 9 too.
Yep.
Oh,
And,
Deb came in?
no.
Deborah Kimball came in.
Yeah, that's who. Wait, no, she's here.
Yeah,
No,
but
she's
I didn't
here.
get her
Yeah.
yet.
That's not who we're missing.
Angie's here too. Angie, I didn't get her.
I can't see. It's like 3, 6. Yeah, I've got everybody. Nod. But I want to welcome everybody to our club meeting. I was hoping a lot more people. Oh, there was a new girl. I don't know her name, and I saw her come in, and now she's gone. So I let her in, but I can't remember what her name was. But so I need to have a motion to call this meeting to order.
I motion to start the meeting.
All
I
right.
second.
And Michelle. All right. Thank you, ladies. And let's see. Now I'm going to read the minutes for Christy, and it's just something that I sat here and watched the video and jotted down. And I even did the treasure because I didn't know for sure, and it is probably not right, but from last meeting. So maybe it is. Anyway, we'll get to that when we get there. But do I need to read like who, Chrissy, who opened, who
No,
made a
you can
motion?
you can just give a summary of,
Okay, of what we
yeah.
did.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect. All right, so I guess that would lead us to the treasurer's report.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, last time, are you going over the last times or?
$814. That's what you sent me last time because you couldn't make it to the last meeting in December.
What change? Well, we've got 794.07. What
Oh.
changed?
We got a couple memberships at the conference or something.
I lost it anyway. No! Stop.
Put yourself on mute next time.
Unmute that.
Yeah,
Okay,
we have
Bethany.
we have 794.07.
Nice.
And then I've received one set of dues so far for the year. So that I just received the other day. I haven't deposited that. So that would
Okay.
put us at 799.07.
Okay.
And that would be I need to make a post about it's that time of year to get
Right.
membership
Dues in.
send your dues in, that sort of thing.
Yep. Exactly.
And there is a couple of receipts that Phyllis sent me. And did you find the other ones?
I did, but
or
I
not?
haven't set back down because I was telling them I just got a new computer and I've been dealing with that. So I will
Got
do it this week.
Okay,
So
I can't remember the
I think it was like
total.
156, and then I found another one from Amazon where we bought stuff for the retreat, like the smoker and
Oh, okay. The ones you'd sent me were like our business cards and
banner.
the banner and that sort of thing. So I need to go ahead and when I get that total, I'll be issuing a check to Phyllis for those items, which I don't have right now that's what we have, but that will change by. Do you have any idea roughly?
I would
how
say
much?
about 200 maybe.
Okay.
At the most. I'm not definitely, but I'll
I'm
get that
sorry.
this week.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But we needed to go ahead and do that. So I've got to issue that check whenever, and we'll have more than 500 still, but that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. And we've got yeah, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But all right. So anybody,
You need well, questions, or if no questions, what, a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
everybody okay with that? You understand where our money is? All right. Do I
I
hear
make
a,
a motion to accept the treasurer's.
thank you,
report.
sweet Rhonda.
You're
All
welcome.
right.
And I
Anybody second?
it. I second
Oh,
it.
Tiffany. All right. Good job, girls. I was watching our last months and it was like, somebody come on. And then I had to pull it out of you all. So I appreciate you stepping up for this one.
You know,
Okay.
I'm gonna interject on that for a minute. I always I don't want to talk over anybody, so I sit here, be quiet, and then I sometimes don't know if I should do it. I don't want to be an
Let's
asshole,
do it.
you know?
Don't be an ass.
Ah.
You're not an ass.
I
So
was
just,
with so many, I tried to shut up so other people could do it.
Yes, exactly.
right. Right.
too.
Yep. Well, I appreciate you girls. So, and everybody, Angie speaks up. But the new ones, we'll get them later. We'll bring them into the fair. Okay, so that is stands as it is, and our old business. And Christy's on here today, and Tiffany and myself and Debbie. Of course, she's out in La La Land, getting educated. But we had a meeting and it was canceled because Christy was very, very sick. So I don't know, Christy, if she's got
Yep.
trouble talking. So
No, I'm good right now.
Okay.
So the update, like Phyllis said, we had a meeting and I had no voice, so there was not possible for me to even have the meeting. He cannot do this week, but he
Okay.
can do next week.
wait a minute. Tell everybody, because we have two new people. Tell
Okay.
them what we are talking about.
So we are going to be meeting
Thanks.
with the director, the camp director at Jackson's Mill, to implement a youth program that's going to be available at camps this summer at the mill. And it's not required for all camps that are there, but we're going to offer it up. And we're going to meet with Jason to discuss what else going to be required. If he's going to lead talking to the camper, the people leading the camp, to see if they wanted to offer it, and then let us know what camps they are so that we can get our volunteers vetted, because you do have to go through a background check through WVU Extension Services. And then obviously our group would want to put together what's that training going to be. Typically camps are 4 to 5 days long with their classes on mostly 4 of those days. And
What
it varies,
fees?
it varies how long that you have the students for. So we're going to get with him to hopefully start developing that. It may be this summer that we only get to go, 1 or 2 camps, but I think it'll grow from there. And then it could extend
Absolutely.
out to not just Jackson's Mill, but other camps, in other locations
Counties.
as well.
Mhm.
So we are going to definitely meet with him. I think I can't remember now if it's the 23rd or the 26th. I can't remember. He may have said both those dates were good next week. I'll pull up his email and let him know that we're good to go to go ahead and
Okay.
schedule it, since I'm doing better. And
Yep.
then second, because I was sick and Tiffany was sick, we didn't get to go and get a picture at the mill where we're wanting to do the apiary. So I'm going to message Tiffany this evening. I see she's on here, and we'll pick a date,
Mhm.
get pictures, measurements, and
Nice.
go for that. So that should
Yeah,
start.
it kind of gives
moving
us
along.
a visual. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So that's what I have on the Jackson's Mill
Nice.
front.
Yeah. Getting pretty excited about that. It's
Yeah.
coming closer.
I hate to
And
be,
I'm sorry.
I hate to be, where is Jackson's Mill, the camp actually at?
And it's close to Weston, about 30
Okay.
minutes south of Clarksburg.
Okay,
It's off the beaten path a little bit, but it's the state 4-H camp. So we thought that was a good start for it,
okay,
especially
Mhm.
since they're giving us some ground to actually put an apiary.
that
Uh,
is great, okay.
yeah.
And I did finally get everything certified, my background check and everything. And I had to ask and send an email. And if anybody is interested in that email, I have it right here. I can give it to you. I can write it in the chat. Just send it to me. Send me the, in chat, or I can give it to you right now if you're interested. But her name is Evie, but her name is Evelyn. and real sweet. She sounds like a very young woman, and what she's probably my age, but anyway, really good to work with, and she answers me right back. So, unlike some of the others that I've dealt with at the WVU.
Very efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and I guess that's it. So if you guys understand about the Jackson's Mill, what we're trying to do. All right. And as of right now, I think it's like was Monday after our retreat. So
Right.
if,
Right.
yeah.
OMC was, yep.
So, so that'll be a weekend and a half a week of really busy with me. So that's exciting. And then the other old business we talked about last weekend or last week, last month. We were talking about, selling our t-shirts at the conference. I cannot be there. So I don't know if we wanted to take like pre-orders and then only if they're going to be at the conference and get their money and take their shirt to them with their name on it and hand it to them. That's the only way that instead of setting up a booth, I think this conference, and I may be wrong, so let me know, but I think this conference is so amazing that I don't think any of us need to be sitting at a vendor's table.
I'm gonna be way too hammered, busy working the conference to even attempt
Exactly.
to hook up
Well,
with
and,
people.
and some of the other ladies are too, because they,
Mhm.
I've been told that they're volunteering. So, yeah. So are you okay with not doing a vendor's table at this spring conference? I mean, I didn't mind a bit at fall conference and I don't, mind unless I'm teaching a class or something. But we'll cross that river when we come to it. But so everybody agrees, no conference table this year. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Do I need a second, first, second, whatever you do? Come on, Kathy, you're
I
smiling.
make a
Motion.
motion that we do not have a table set up for spring conference.
And I second it.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
we don't-
ladies. All right. I guess that just finalizes and make sure that everybody yay and nay, and so I guess it is important to do. So we can talk amongst ourselves, and look at maybe getting something worked out. Maybe Christy or Tiffany. I don't know. Tiffany, I have you as a computer. You are, aren't you?
Oh, what?
A computer geek, like you could
No,
do.
absolutely not.
Okay, then wipe her off of my
I
list.
have an IT guy.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, Christy is our IT gal, and but we could maybe do something like for the t-shirts, set it up, and instead of a bunch of order forms coming in to Bethany because she is, with baby now, so I don't want to make it crazy for her, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
can figure something out online that would make it easier.
Okay, well,
to track.
first we need to see, because I won't be back, so my t-shirts won't be able to be for sale. And so Tiffany has some and Debbie has some, and we can only sell those because the
I do.
ones. Yeah,
Beth,
well, I said Tiffany, I meant Bethany. I was looking
You're
right
fine.
at you. So Bethany and
I knew
Debbie
what
have,
you meant.
yeah.
Well, if you
Deb-
can get me what we have available and then
Okay.
a snapshot of like what's the shirt looks like, we'll make
got that.
something
Yep.
online.
Got that,
Um,
not a problem.
And then what it'll be is almost like a form that they fill out and it'll help track it. And
Okay.
make it easier for us. So I can
Yep.
do that once we know what's available.
Are they
Okay,
the
perfect.
retreat, shirts that we had for last year? Is that the ones you're talking about?
Yeah, they look like this one.
That one? Okay.
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that sweatshirt.
Yeah, so do I. It's really nice. It's that new, it's that company in Huntington. They do great. So, Rhonda wants us to, fill sweatshirts next year.
Yeah, please.
Wasn't that you?
I love.
Wasn't that you,
sweatshirts.
Rhonda?
I'll take
It
credit.
wasn't you?
It may have been, I don't know, I may have
I
mentioned
don't
it.
know. Somebody
That
said,
was
I
me.
remember
That was
seeing
think-
yours on your
If-
couch and went, woo,
Ooh,
sweatshirt.
Yeah.
sweatshirt.
I think it was Tiffany, right, Tiff?
Yes.
You wanted
Yes.
the sweatshirts. All right. Yeah, they're very nice.
We'll just do
Um,
pre-order. We can do pre-orders for those just the same on our form.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean
I
for the
think-
sweatshirts?
Pardon?
What?
You mean for the sweatshirts pre-orders?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when we,
Yeah. When we get closer to the
Right, the
retreat, you know,
retreat.
I'll get home and get my feet back on the ground. Okay. Now everybody knows probably on here that we moved the B classes to Thursdays nights.
Mhm.
And so we wanted to make that change. And everybody that is presenting, I think every one of you has a B company, right?
Hmm.
In West Virginia. So if you're doing a presentation, or even if you're not, just make one sign of your B company and show it off. It's your turn to shine.
like our
So,
business.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. Bring that to the front, and that's the first thing you're going to talk about. Nothing big, you know, like I have a picture of my logo and what I sell and where I live, and I'm a, you know, a woman owner. So and that's it. So I don't want it to, you know, if they want to buy stuff off of you, they can do it in message. So, but yeah, if you would do that, let's see, I think that's about it. And for new business, last time nothing was talked about. So, and I think that was the end of that. And that was for the minutes and everything for
I have a question.
December. Do what?
I have a question.
Absolutely.
Is there a form that you fill out that's in with your dues?
A form to fill out what?
You
With the
fill out,
dues.
like your name and
There,
address.
there, there was for the state, but not for women's.
Okay.
That's
That's
neat.
it.
So if I pay my states through my own club, what do I owe you? 5 or 6?
We're 5, correct?
And do we make the checks out to women's or to you, Bethany?
Women Beekeepers of West Virginia, and you don't have to write West Virginia out, you can just
Right.
WV it.
Women Beekeepers WV?
Yep.
And do we not have PayPal? I do believe we do. And
We
if you do it
do.
friend to friend, you know, Venmo is really,
I use
Easy
Venmo
for-
all the time. I like
I
it.
like
me-
Venmo.
Let me look up our PayPal, see if I can.
And
Remember that.
Venmo and PayPal are linked. They're the same owners or something.
When is I know it sounds weird. When are dues due?
That is hard. This,
She's crazy.
I think, Chrissy, I think we did January, and we'll have it in since we have to maybe work on maybe getting a Venmo account or something, because Venmo is so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm already set up.
Yeah.
I have to go
And if
back
you
and
send it
read
by
our bylaws.
friend, if you
Right.
send it by friend instead of business, it doesn't charge.
Right.
Are we allowed to do that though for women's?
Yeah. Well.
No,
mhm.
it's for us. If we send it, we can pick.
Oh,
Is
I
this
got
a
you, I got you,
business or a friend?
I got
Pick
you.
friend, don't pick business. Yes, people can send it to you that way. Yeah.
I'll message Bethany after this and we'll talk about. Cause
I
I know it was
think-
difficult getting PayPal set up with that
I'm
bank.
logging in right now, so.
Yeah, but
I'm very-
remember, Bethany, we had a real problem getting West Union, your bank
I'm
set up
sending
with
you a check-
PayPal, so
I'm
I don't
sending
know
you
if
a check
Venmo
tomorrow.
would be bad.
Well, Venmo's so easy because you could you go in there and you put in the bank account routing and checking, and
Right.
within
Yeah,
1 to
which-
3 days, it'll deposit right into that account.
Well,
Yeah, but
there
I don't
should-
think we want to post our banking detail to people.
Right.
So
We
we would
should-
want to connect like we did PayPal, we
bank.
would want to connect right on
My
our
pers-
side.
my PayPal is associated with my West Union Bank, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
But yes, I did get on here and I logged on and we do have the PayPal. It just, we can, I guess, how do you guys want to do that? Like if I'm sure that I can look back and see when we got the money that I've seen here, or no, we've sent money. I've received money on here and I know we got it into the account. I can go back on our account and look. If it's functional, do you want to use the PayPal or do you want to look at another option?
Well, I do know when I paid my lump sum for whatever I owed, like $70, I put it on my business account and it would not let me link friend to friend.
Yeah,
So-
you did it on, instead of your personal or whatever, you did it on your business.
My
Yeah.
business, yep. So just to give everybody knowledge, don't get on with your business account if you're paying women's because it won't link up.
Me personally, just because like I hear Rhonda saying she uses Venmo a lot of people use PayPal a lot. There is no fees for either one of them to set up the account. Do we want to have both options for?
That's fine.
There
for
are no
members?
fees to set it up, but are there fees associated with taxes, Christy, for over $600, even if you're a nonprofit?
No.
Not this year.
They actually they paused that this year.
Okay,
And then going forward, even if they do tax it, we would just submit, like, we'll have to submit a form that we're tax exempt anyway.
Right.
Right, that's, they 22, not 23 yet.
Right.
Okay, so Christy, do you want to be in charge of setting up that Venmo or, and is it attached to your checking account as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll have to set it up with all of
Okay.
that detail. That same thing as PayPal, just go to Venmo.
'Cause I've never done Venmo.
It's
Yeah.
so easy, Bethany. Don't be
Yeah.
It
intimidated.
is. I could do it. I
Yeah,
did.
it is.
And then within 2 days, you just look in your bank account and
there.
it'll be
Yeah.
like 0.87 cents or something like that. And you just go back on and tell them how much was in there and you're set up. So, and you can set up, they'll give us a little nickname and that's what we can tell people to look for is like at, mine's at Phyllis Gaynor Varian.
So this has personal or business?
That's going to be the rough thing, is because we technically have to set it up as a business. And I think that's when we're going to get into where there will be
The
fees.
taxes, right?
Yeah. Well, no fees for people to pay a business.
Oh, I see.
Um,
Well,
But
if
let
it
me-
is, then we just don't do it.
yeah, but I
Or-
need,
Or if it is, it's not that much, just pass it on, the cost on us. So instead of dues being $5, it'll be $5.62.
right, if you want to
Yeah.
pay it online, just like paying your phone bill,
Right.
it's extra
Exactly.
$3 if you want to pay it online.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, we'll have to,
That's
need
a
to
like
public
that.
convenience fee, y'all.
I need
Yeah.
to look into the business setup of Venmo. So
Okay,
Bethany,
I will.
give me like till the end of this week.
Sure.
Perfect. Yeah, because I mean, we can say, dues are in February and
I know
that'll give
that
us
would
plenty of
be-
time.
It would be terribly convenient for everyone because then I'm not everybody's not having to write a check, send
Yeah.
it in the mail, et cetera. And I did receive 1 or 2 cashier's checks or whatever, or money orders last year. And then, of course, and it's less for me to keep track of.
Absolutely.
No, it goes right in.
The only good thing I liked about it would be on my record keeping, I was able to take the picture of the check. So I knew I had all the information right there. And then I could, it's kind of like a
There-
receipt.
Well, you'll
There's
do it with
reports.
Venmo too.
Yeah, but
It'll
and
give
there,
you a monthly report.
yeah, you'll have a monthly report that'll show
Okay,
you
yeah.
who paid you. Now, the thing is, like Phyllis's, we know that if hers was at Phyllis Varian, then you know who that is. But if it's like at B Lady 123, we don't know who that is. So
Right.
Yeah.
hopefully they would put a comment in there so that you would be able
Yes.
to know who's actually paying you.
Yes. Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's
Yeah.
so we'll check it out. Because I think there's also, and Rhonda, I don't know, I use both. I actually have 4 or 5 cash apps that I use. So it's, yeah, IT person, right?
Yep.
But there's some way, and I don't know if it's Venmo or I know it's for sure it's on PayPal, where I could actually set up like this whole page on PayPal that I can say, pay your dues, and they fill out a form on PayPal and then they pay
Wow.
it and it sends that there. So I need to research Venmo because I'm not sure if Venmo can do that, but if they
I
can, we'll set
haven't
that up.
seen that.
Okay.
but-
I haven't either.
Okay.
Yeah. And if we get that and on PayPal, I mean, there's nothing wrong with PayPal. You just, Venmo, I never have to log in, so it's very convenient. PayPal, I always have to log in.
Yeah,
So I hate it. But yeah, but it's doable. So
yeah, it is.
Okay. I'll look into it. I mean, if it's not, like I said, having multiple cash apps is not a big deal. It's just we got to make sure Bethany knows who's paying.
exactly.
We'll table this then until the next
Yes.
month's meeting. We'll know something by next month. But in the meantime, anyone who wants to go ahead and mail in
Right.
their, go ahead and do that, mail it, make it out to Women Beekeepers of WV. And I guess I can make a new post, so we don't have to find the other one, my address, where to mail it to.
Okay.
I saved it from last year.
And then again, state if our general statement with the state dues are what, $6, I think, if you
Yes.
want to,
It's 11
Send that.
total. Yeah.
yes. So if you haven't already paid with your local, if you're in a local club in your area, aside from our club, and you paid it through there, that's fine. If you aren't and or choose to go ahead and join the state as well, there is a form for the state. And I can post that as well.
Okay.
I
Great.
can do that.
So, what do you guys think about? You have anything else to talk about?
What about the retreat? Do you know how much that's going to cost this year?
Probably the same.
So we can start sending in payment for that too?
I thought I could send in both of them at one time if you let
Yeah,
me.
that's what I wanted to do.
That's up to Bethany.
Let's hold off on that a little bit, please.
You want to start in February?
Yeah,
The
I
end
have
of
done that
February?
before.
We
Whatever.
can. I doubt we'll have, I respect the go-getters on that, but I doubt we'll have too many, that, but
That'll
that's
pay
good. 'Cause
prepay.
You're getting your spot done. It's off your mind, bada bing, bada boom, you're done.
Right. Okay. All right. So do we have any other new business to talk about? If not, I'm going to adjourn this meeting and go to the presentation if I can get it to work. It's a big IF. Do I have somebody to make a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will
And I
second that.
second.
Thank you,
Also-
too. Okay.
I like the way Rhonda comes in. I'll second that.
Uh-huh.
Great, I love it.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Michael Palmer, so cool.
Okay. So obviously you can see it, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Is
like
Michael
you-
Palmer out of Vermont?
Do what?
Is he in Vermont?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know who he is then.
Yeah. He's amazing. He's our guru. Yeah. And I learned something today, but I don't think I need them. But I wrote notes on here and I can't remember how to bring them up. And I'll have to watch that video again before Thursday for my presentation. But anyway, I'm going to wing this. So you can't, I can't see any of you at all. But you can see the screen, right?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Come on. Oh, there we are. Okay. So I am talking about Michael Palmer's, and he has it on YouTube, and I'll put it on our women's page after this, so you guys can hear from the main man himself, and he will help you understand what I'm going to try to stumble through today. But he does his nuclei, and that's what he calls them, and he does it before winter, and he goes he pulls them out because he's so much colder than you all, and he's about right with me, and he does this all in July. So, and he doesn't make them strong at all. Just puts a very little bit of bees over there. So, and these are mine that we use, and we're going to change them up a little bit. And here's one in the background, and then these two. So that's 6 hives right there, taking up very little room. And it's just like this right here, except for these are 4 frames and these are 5 frames, which we're going to 5 frames this summer. And I'm going to close off that bottom entrance and put a little, Debbie made me a bunch of little wheels, and that's what I'm going to use on these bottoms. So here's a closer look. But here's what ours look like. This is where my note is. What'd you say that was a 3/8? It's a 3/8 board, and we're going to what, Rick? 3? What? Yeah, whatever. I didn't hear what he said, but anyway, we're making this thinner, and then because see how much room is right here? That's just too
Mhm.
much room. They usually put Burcombe along the side of the walls. So we're going to make this thinner and then put another one, and we'll be doing 5/4. So, but this is how I feed them. And actually, Ken Williams kind of got me away from doing this and only feed like this in the fall when you're trying to have them store. So that's a whole different ball game. But we'll let you guys watch that, and you can listen to him. So, but this is how he sets it up. Let me get my stuff out of here. Oh man. So this is the 4 frames. So he puts the honey in the center, and then mixed brood, and then cap brood, and then empty comb for her to lay in. And he uses mated queens that he raises himself. And so it takes, 4 or 5 days for her to get out, maybe 3. And so he comes back in 10 days' time, and he makes sure the queen's out. And that way he only has to look for larvae, and he doesn't have to find the queen. And then after that, then he leaves them alone and comes back in about a week or 2. And then sometimes he said that he pulls like this frame right here, and he puts in it an empty comb. Like if she's doing really well, then he'll give this one to somebody else that needs bees. So, but that's a whole different ball game. You can do what you want, but to add the second box, he takes this honey that was down here and he moves it up there, and now all these are foundation. And then if he has a nice flow going on, he doesn't feed them. But if not, then feed them. And Kent Williams said that when you want them to do this, then you need to feed, and Michael Palmer does this too, but he didn't mention it, but he feeds in a not an open, he feeds in a like a lid with holes in it. And so they have to, really like they do on the flower, go after it and then come back and, and take it and use it. Where when I do my bulk feeding, I'm thinking, well, feed them, feed them, feed them, but they store that. So they're really not utilizing it. So I'll change up the way I feed in the spring because they don't need to store it per se, I guess. I mean, unless they're really starving. But you just have to look at your hive and see what you have. But with these splits, they shouldn't because you gave them honey. And he said to use this one. Here, Debbie, I'll back up. But when he puts this one in down here on I started to cover it up on my. You guys can't see that. but he uses open nectar. He doesn't give them a whole slab of honey. And he said they'll take that nectar and they'll move it. And so then in a week, week to 2 weeks after the queen is out, then he'll move that up. And now, it's probably capped by then. But he said that gives them something to do as well. And then the foundation is pulled out. So now you've got 2 boxes on there, just in lickety split. So it comes back in 2 more and there we go. And now he adds his 3rd box. And this is how he does this. And he said, people complain and moan and groan because I do this. But he said, I'm not doing it in cold weather because he's like, everybody will say, oh, you can't separate the brood. But remember, this is July. He said, they're bearding, they're hot, it's not going to hurt them. And then they get this for room and it's all empty comb. It's not foundation. So she can go right up there and start laying. And then, this will hatch, and then these will be capped, and they'll hatch, and then they'll fill it full of honey. So pretty cool, huh? So here you go. This is you going into winter with your hive. This is kind of what it looks like. Now you can do 2 things. You can harvest this honey and then feed them, or you can just leave it on there. So up to you. I guess it kind of depends on how big your hive is. So, and this I harvested. And there you go, Kathy. This is a form.
Do you use it as a queen
What?
excluder at all?
No, he does not. No. And he said on another thing that I watched him talk about, and this is what it looks like coming out. I'll tell you that in a minute, but this is what it looks like coming out of spring. So all this nectar, pollen, and then 2 honey left. And you can always throw sugar board on it or, whatever, just for your sanity. And then he talks about like if you go in 10 days and your queen is not there, they killed her or whatever, then you can get another queen or they'll do queen cells, but he doesn't use the queen cells. He kills them and puts in another queen because he's, raises thousands of queens a year. But if you didn't have that, then you could do this and you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 queens. But the thing is about this is when they're in there running around, then 1 you can leave in there, but then you need to brush all these bees off of here because they're going to maybe attack the queen when she comes out and you have to be ready to catch her. So that's the problem with doing it this way. And they do run really fast, but you try it. It might work. I've done this and I've had success. So, and this is it. And then I will, yeah, there you are. I will post that on our site. And what he was saying, Kathy, about not using a queen excluder is that when he comes out of winter, he has a single deep, right? I mean, and you can do this. Now, these are nukes that he's making not to raise honey in, it's for them. And this is what he's selling, and they're becoming his brood nucleus that he, makes his nukes to sell with, with his queens and blah, blah. So, but for his honey producers, he takes that and he comes out in a deep. And then when he starts seeing the dandelion, he puts on 2 supers. And he said she probably will go up there and lay in the first super. And I've seen queens, and I know you guys have too, to lay in anything that's up on top. But he said, once, she usually lays in the first one, and then they start filling, the honey flow comes in, or you can feed that one and, take off the second one. But when you get that honey seal, you know what I'm talking about, you guys, then you can just don't have to worry about her ever being in any of those honey supers. So, yeah. But he said he wants her to expand. So putting that on there, he doesn't do, because they're not big enough to do um, single brood chambers. And I don't think he does those, but I do. And I want mine two deeps full before I confine them into the bottom brood nest. So, all right. So that was my presentation. Did you guys understand it? I was just blown away, and I've watched it probably about 6 times.
The last slide where you had the push cages with look like about 4 queen cells.
Yep.
Hard.
How confusing is that to the colony when if all 4 of them are hatching and you have bees in each and getting them?
I've seen it in normal colonies. Like if I missed a swarm
Mhm.
and all these, one time we gave them away and we went through there frame by frame and got 14 out of them, and they were just fine, and we didn't push in, didn't do this is just, we went through the hive
Mhm.
because we missed it, and it swarmed on us, and we got 14 virgin queens. So it's just a normal thing. And they say the first one comes out and kills everything. And it's like, no, not necessarily. Sometimes she just leaves them, and once she gets mated and she starts laying, then they fight to the duel. So,
What size
So you-
hardware cloth is that?
oh, wait a minute. What, Rhonda?
I said, so with those push cages and the queen hatches, then you need to catch her and move her to a different hive?
Yep.
Or what, and in that hive, you would put her back in the push cage for the other bees to get used to her, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I used push cages all last spring for my new ones.
I know, I
think
thought
some
they
of
were
you
neat.
came up. Yeah. And so
They're
mine are,
scary, but they're neat.
yeah, but mine are big. So
Yeah.
almost the half a frame. And so that lets her, you put it on emerging brood that are coming out. So those bees already accept her.
Mhm.
And then they have her smell and caress her and whatever. And then she lays in the cells that they just came out of. And then I think we lost probably 3 out of 90. So that's a pretty good ratio. And they crawled in under and killed her.
Wow.
So yeah. So then I started using rubber bands to hold on my cage to get it tighter. All right, Michelle, what was you saying?
I asked you what size hardware cloth the push cages were made of,
It's
because it
8.
looks smaller than a 1/4 inch.
Yeah, it's number 8. That's all we have. That and
Okay.
the big ones for the mice things. So, but it's number 8
I use-
hardware.
Yeah, I use the 8 for the bottom board. I would use 8 for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I take all sizes.
Yeah. But they work really well. And if you want to get fancy, when you at the ones, one end or the other, you can make a trap door where you can let her out, and you can have a one of those round cages right there. But if she's in there with other bees, then I mean they're going to get in there with her, which is okay, I guess. And then if you see that you have it full of a bunch of workers, then you can just pull that shut, and then shake those out and then do it all over again. So, but I mean, there's ways around to getting her in there, but it's pretty difficult sometimes. I think I lost one. I think Joni and Debbie was with me, and I couldn't get the cage down fast enough, and she just like that. But I did find her. She went in another hive, and I found her. I had 2 queens in that hive, and one was her.
I got a question now.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your nukes over a box, you have to have 4 frame nukes to go over a deep, correct?
You do, but what we're doing, since we're going to change, ours is going to overlap because I have all those 5 frame nukes on my farm. Then it's going to overlap a little bit, and I'm just going to take a shim and staple it on there. Just
Right,
to,
because when I went to the conference, all I found was 5 frame nukes.
Mhm.
So I thought, because what I'm gonna try to do is like raise queens in my queen castle and start a couple of nukes to overwinter.
Right.
But I could put the feed, I actually bought more frame feeders for that.
Right. Yeah, well, I definitely use frame feeders. I love them. But after you watch what Kent Williams says, then he says when they're new in the spring like that, then feed them out of something they have to really work at, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
do better. But
And
when
what
you
would that be? What kind of suggestion would you give?
well, it's like the quart jar with the I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but with the
They
nail
turn
holes.
upside down
Yep.
and.
They use on
put 'em in.
Boardmans. Yeah, I put them on my queen castles.
Yeah, you can use the
Okay.
Boardmans inside. Don't put them outside. Yep. Put them on top of their hive. Don't put it over the brood. But yeah. I hate Boardman feeders. They cause
So do
robbing.
I. Yeah, I'm trying to think. See, I decided that the one reason why I went and I got a great deal on a bunch of frame feeders is
Nice.
I bought a couple migratory lids for my nuke boxes. I don't want to drill holes in them. for
Right.
feed.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I
Yep.
do? Take them off and like shim it up or something? You know, like
No.
a,
No, do you have an extra empty box you can just set on top? Yeah. Yeah, it's just gonna be a frame around it where you can look in there. It's like, oh, the jar is empty, and reach in there and get it and put it back.
they sit right on top of the frames?
Yep.
That's
Not
not-
over the
that's my
brood.
That was my
Yeah.
question, on top of the frames.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, because with the Queen Castle, I drilled holes in all the, because there's 3 separate lids.
Right.
That worked
Yep.
out fine because I put a box on top of that. But when I bought those migratory covers, I said, I'm not drilling holes in them.
Right. Yeah. Yep. That's all you do. If you have another empty box that fits right on top, and you just set that on there and then put your feed, and you can do pails, you just
Right.
anything that they can feed out of. Yeah, that will fit down into a nuke.
It's small pail. I mean, I know how to do that. I did that with a 5 gallon. I could do it with a 1 gallon bucket too.
Hey
Mhm.
Kathy, did you get
Yeah.
those at Hive Life?
What's that? Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was gonna say, I got mine off Bob Benny and his were already had the holes in them
Oh,
for the
okay.
pail
No,
feeders.
I didn't, yeah, you bought the buckets. I already had buckets. I have,
Well, I just bought the one bucket because I wanted to try it, but I bought some of his lids and his already have, actually his, you can do the feeder jars or the buckets.
right.
And the way his lids are, he always keeps a
An
metal
extra lid.
a lid in there, and that's
Yeah.
what he covers it
They
up
gave
with.
us,
Yeah,
they gave us one with every lid I purchased. They gave me one.
nice.
Yeah, I got
I was
lots
so
of
excited. I'm
lids.
like, I've got Bob Benny lids.
No doubt.
And bottom boards, because they were the ones that they make that are made out of that waterproof stuff that'll last
Uh-huh.
for years and years and years. And they're nice.
That's what
Yeah.
my lids are. Yeah, and yeah, he makes all of his equipment now.
And he was standing right there.
He was standing right
Nice.
there. Yeah, that was good. That's good.
Rubbing elbows.
Yep.
I
Well,
know.
the in-frame feeders that I bought, they're the ones that have the wood across with the holes in the ladders. Well, I took the ladders out.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm gonna keep the lid, the hard, and just stick it with wood. So this one guy, I go to his booth, they're closing, they're shutting everything down. I said, you get any high feeders? And they're going, no. And the guy's there goes, I bartered, I got 5. He's got 5. Up. I said, what do you want for him? He goes, how about $10 a piece? I said, sold.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I said,
that's
that
great.
was one of my good buys, last
Now,
minute.
I remember you coming by and telling me that. but-
Yeah.
I know
Very good.
Motherlode, I was gonna get some at the conference, but when I went to Motherlode and looked at what they had this one, it was funny, there was this guy, he had to have been commercial or something in some fashion. But he was basically telling me all about them. They said it was one of their best customers. And I'm like, you need to hire this guy.
Yeah, right?
I guess they've come out with a 1.5 gallon they just made, but it's not out yet. Like
Mhm.
it's in the process of being finished up and they're gonna be selling it. So
That would be good.
between-
I hate my
he
2
showed-
gallon.
yeah, he showed the setup. He's like, there's just a little too much room with the 1 gallon.
Yeah.
And then the 2 gallon takes up 2 frames. The 1.5 gallon fits better,
Good.
but you only lose 1 frame. So I'm
Yep.
gonna buy some and have them sent whenever they come out online.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah, that's a good size. Yeah, I don't know.
So heads
Yeah,
up,
you
they're coming.
do what?
I said, just heads up, that's a new product's coming out.
Yeah, right. Yep. So did I make you guys confused?
No.
Rick
No.
says yes.
No, I understood. Because I was asking, my one confusion is we had to buy, nobody had 4-frame nukes, so I bought 2 5-frames. Oh, I got a stupid question. I have a bunch of stain with urethane. Can I use those on boxes?
Stained with
Poly-
urethane? Only
Urethane?
urethane? Are they
Yeah,
on the outside or inside?
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to pay, I have a can of it. I thought I'd do both of my nukes in that.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
as long as it's not on the inside.
I'm not paying anything on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Now, um,
Thanks.
we earned, it says you earned a top participant achievement in this chat for creating engaging discussions. So that was women's. I just got it in my email.
Well,
Yeah, aren't we special?
We do
we
chat.
are.
Yeah.
My
So
girlfriends.
yeah. Yeah, we are. We're right up with it, man. So, all right. So now meeting's over and VChat has begun. Anybody have anything they want to talk about their bees or
I treated again.
I was.
Me too.
that's wonderful.
I treated yesterday. Oh, and you
That's
know,
good.
I I did an experiment because you know how you're talking about putting 4 grams twice?
Mm-hmm.
And I told you I was doing 8 grams once.
Right.
The difference is if I keep mine on and go hive to hive, after the first hive, it backs up with 8. But if I turn it off and turn it back on and go to the next hive, I can put 8 in and do it once.
Nuh-uh.
That's what happened to me yesterday.
What?
And it's really easy on and off.
Yeah, it is.
'Cause you guys were talking about, I'm going, I'm not having a problem, but what am I doing different? And then yesterday I went in and I kept it on. And the first one burned beautiful and the next ones, they left it half of it in the cup.
Huh.
And it
Never
didn't
have that
fall out.
problem with only half of it.
No, I did wholes, but I was always able to do 8 at a time, 8 at a time. But I would do 8, turn it off, go to the next hive, put the 8 in and turn it back on, and it would burn it. And I wouldn't have to worry about the cycles, it worked right out. So yesterday, because everybody else says, Rhonda said to me, oh, you turn yours off in between hives? So I said, okay, I'll try it different. And I tried it different. The first hive burned beautiful. The second hive, I kept it on and went to the second hive. I should have done it twice because half of it was still in the rim of the cup.
Really?
Mhm.
I'm trying.
Are
Thanks
you
for the tip.
packing?
That was
Okay,
perfect.
so are you packing it in the cup?
No,
And
I
then-
just drop it in and drop it in, and I've always been able to do 8 grams at one time. But if I leave it on and go 8 grams in this hive and then go to the next hive with still on, that second 8 grams is not burning. Or I should have done it before.
So you put it in the lid and then put the lid on, right?
Right.
So I'm just putting it in directly
Yeah,
in
in the
cup.
bowl. Yeah,
Right,
just
but
put it
it's
right
like
in the bowl.
But when I go to take it out, there's so much residue on.
I got what she's saying. I've had that.
She-
Like you'll have the white powder on.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there was a lot of white
silicone.
powder. Yeah, but on the first one, I don't have that white powder. And when I was turning it off and turning it on, going hive to hive, I wasn't getting that white powder.
Hmm.
It was burning the whole thing.
Well,
Does your bowl maybe need cleaned? Like it?
No, my bowl is so, I have one of those brushes. My bowl is so gold. It doesn't look like I ever use it.
mhm,
I do the
mhm.
outside and everything.
You're welcome.
It's your fault, yes. I'm a clean freak anyway.
I mean, I
Oh
have to touch
gosh, you about die
everything.
coming up my house then, don't you?
Oh my God, I'm nuts. Makes
I-
me feel good to think. So here's my other experiment I did. I had one hive that was facing 3 hives. I knew it was wrong. I had to get the carrier, finally got the carrier. My husband, who's decrepit, helped me. It was painful. We did a 160. We got it turned around. 2 days later, I went in and it was going to get cold and I was supposed to go away. And I went in and I wanted to check everybody's stores real quick. So 3 hives, I check them. 1 hive, I have to add a brick. The other 2, they're eating it. I close it down. I got plenty of, I go to that 1 hive that was facing the rest of them, didn't touch their sugar board. Of
Mhm.
course, he was robbing everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
The bitchy one.
Remember, I'm recording.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I can call up a lady worker a bitch.
Mhm.
They call
So
you
that-
worse.
That was my 2 experiments. It's pretty funny.
Neat. Very neat to hear about.
When
I
you said
will
it was,
try the turning off and turning on. So, did
Well,
your does your
the reason
gun
why-
have a does your guns have a turn on and turn off? Mine
side,
doesn't. I
yeah.
would have to
No.
unplug one.
Mine does not.
Mine
Mine
has an
doesn't
on
either.
off switch.
Yep.
And the reason why I was turning it on and off is I thought it was too fast on the other burns. It goes from 400 to the way up really fast.
How high does yours go?
Mine goes, no, it goes down to 402.
Down to
Goes down
402?
to 402.
Well,
It should go down to like 296 or something.
Mine doesn't even
236.
go that high. Mine goes to 248 to 260 is where it burns at. And then when
Oh my.
it's used and drops down. So it depends on how they're calibrated.
Right.
well, the decimal points is what gets me, the decimal, but I know that it drops down and then it shoots up, but it was the second, third and fourth hives were really fast. I mean, really fast before they hit their peak.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that my gun alone, I'm better off turning it off and on and it burns really good that way. I don't have to do 2
I think
burns.
that would hurt the computer. I don't know. Need to
But I
talk to
wait for it
somebody before you
wait-
ruin your.
Right, when I wait for it to
Gun.
go all the way back down, I turn it off and then I go to my next hive. I load it up and I turn it back on and it does the whole cycle.
Oh, so you have to wait for it. I couldn't do that. I mean, there's no sense in when I have so many to do,
Right.
I just boom, boom, boom. And when it starts and cruddy, then I pour water in it and use my drill and clean it out and then go again. So,
Right, but I
Okay,
had
you-
a lot of residue on the after the first one, lots.
They had pretty cool guns there. The new one out now is
Yeah,
flat and it slides right in the front. You
I
put
think
it right
Cheryl
in.
got one like that. And
Yeah,
she's not
so you don't
here.
have to drill that hole in the back. You can just put it right in your front entrance.
Yeah.
well, I thought with my Queen Castle with all those little entrances, there's no place to really drill a hole. I would just go through the front with a gun.
Yeah. I would too, other than the landing boards, but if I would go to migratory,
You would do the
Um,
little disc like Debbie
Right,
makes, then you could close it off until it fit I would get the metal one maybe, but
oh yeah,
and then you could close the bees off and then they would be in there.
right.
So that would work better than the entrance. Because I mean, even when you make your queen castle, you should use those little discs so you can open it up, shut it, give them ventilation, whatever.
What I did is I put a screen on the bottom of it. I cut a hole
Mhm.
and I put a screen on top and it's got lots of ventilation on the bottom now.
Mhm.
So-
Good.
so That's one reason why I think that particle board got all warped.
Right. And
Just-
remember with your queen castles, you don't want to put a lot of bees in there. Just
Right.
enough, that, if it's warm that they
I
Do what?
actually used only 2 out of 3 sides the last time. I never went to a third queen.
Mm-hmm.
Sections. I didn't have a lot in there, but it worked.
Yeah.
Um,
They're time consuming. If you start them off with a lot of bees, you have to go and pull brood and give them home and yeah.
well,
You're,
that's
I
what
think,
I'm hoping to move it into nukes.
mm-hmm. That's why I like those 5 overs, I guess, is where we're headed, not the 4 overs, because you just put another one on there and
Right.
line it up like he has them, and they'll go right to town. So,
I'm gonna try that 3/4 frames that you posted, that the woman who was your mentor.
oh, you mean Lori Miller? I wish she was my mentor. Is that who you're
Oh,
talking
okay.
about?
Well, the one where she does 1/3 foundation, 2/3
Yep,
foundation.
yep.
I'm
Now
gonna,
you can use, if you're breeding, you can use those for like the green drone boards.
I have them.
Well, okay, but if you didn't, then you could use those to multiply your drones in your breeding area.
Yeah, that's why she does it, but I thought if I could, there's gonna be a way, I gotta learn the checkerboard better. I'm trying to keep my
Mm-hmm.
bees busier instead of swarming. That's my
Mhm.
biggest concern this year.
Right.
I learned last year that I gave them absolutely too much drawn comb out. I gotta give them more to do. And I
Right.
gotta checkerboard those boxes, and
Checkerboarding works great.
yeah, that's
I
what I
had,
does.
do.
I had good success with it. I had no swarms last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Nice. Very
That's
nice.
what I was reading, because I tried to equalize it and that really didn't work. If I checkerboard it around the brood area, I've just gotta do some more homework on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's just trial and error too. And you learn what works and oh man, shouldn't have done that, or oh wow, that really worked well. So
Yeah, checkerboard's I think it's my answer, but I liked her things. I do that for
well,
I like those partial foundations.
well when you let them pull that out down below and they'll make a drone and then you put it up and then they fill it full of honey.
Right.
Don't let her lay in it though. But now you know how you guys you open up your top brood chamber and you kill all those drones, right? All right. Well, I don't want to do that because I'm breeding stuff. So when you put either the green board or those chunk honey, you know, pet honeycomb ones that you were talking about, they build that and they put their drones in there. And then that's why Lori started using it because because she's a big queen breeder.
Right.
And so that quit the ripping of the drones apart.
No drone on the bottom. They're all in the
Right.
frame.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And then if you wanted to, you could use it as a mite treatment if you got in there and got them early enough.
Right.
So don't let them, because if you're not breeding, you don't need them. There's probably if you have a queen that, um, needs bred, there's probably plenty of drones in your normal outyard. So you can use
About
them.
a lot of things. She talked about how, even she says, if you need drones, but when the drones hatched, those cells were bigger and they were actually packing it with honey. And she
Yes.
said that her boxes were heavier. She had no swarming.
Right.
And that's the kind of stuff that enlightened me. I'm
Yep.
not.
Yeah, and you can use that, for their honey stores on the side because it gives them more honey in the drone cell than it does in a worker cell.
Right.
Yeah, so you can push those over to the end and keep them full. So, yep.
Yep.
So that's
Bethany's
a good
gone.
point. Mhm. So, anybody else have anything to talk about?
I got a jar of creamed honey as a late Christmas present
Oh,
from
cool. Where'd it
Maine,
come
and when
from?
you smell it, you could smell blueberry in it.
Oh,
So I'm
Yum.
gonna save a little bit so I can make some creamed honey of my own.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. I've got probably about 17 pounds cream honey that I made before I left and sitting on the shelf for me because the seed that I bought last year was $32 and now it's up to 40, I think it is.
Wow.
So I just took that and my other honey, and so now I'll take that I have. I have a couple gallon jars full of it, and then I'll turn that into creamed honey, and then I'll until I get a big batch, and then I can feel like I can
Yeah.
sell it.
How much, what was the weight of what you got for $40?
Uh, Bethany's not there. You guys talk, and I'll pull it up. So
Because this is a 12-ounce jar and they left the price tag on it. It wasn't even $15.
oh wow. Um,
What does cream honey usually go for in this area? Anybody sell it?
I'd sell it,
I-
and go ahead.
I was gonna ask, I don't know.
Oh, I sell 8-ounce jars, $10.
Mm-hmm.
But if you
Yeah, but-
guys remember at the retreat, and since I had to buy my seed, I was only making $2
Mhm.
for the 8-ounce for that little tiny
And
8-ounce
it
jar.
takes such a
Popular at
long
At
time.
Hive Life, they were lining up buying it.
Really?
Lining-
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you go to the first booth when you came in the door, but they left it. Oh, it's my cousin. But they
Do
were,
people sell it in jars or do they sell it in those plastic round containers?
Both. Bethany, I sell mine in jars, and Bethany sells them in tubs.
Yeah, because I think the tubs would be probably less expensive to buy.
Okay, in April 2022, I bought it for $36.
How
And
much?
it was 80 ounces.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big tub. Hmm.
Everybody's talking about how much oxalic they're using and stuff, and I'm like, I keep forgetting to measure mine, so I just ran out and did it. I guess I'm doing about 10 grams.
That's about what I do. I do five at a time.
Yeah, okay, so it for me, I'm using a tablespoon measure. I'll scoop it, and
Mhm.
I was doing about 3/4 ish of that tablespoon, and I just drop it all in at once.
Yeah, I used to do that, but then when I would get into my hives later, at the very bottom of the bottom board where my hole is, I had this real long white powder.
Okay,
So that's what we decided that we would do it 2 times and
okay.
try to eliminate that and try to get them
Do you
all.
think it helped with that?
Think so, but I still get white powder.
Yeah.
So
Well,
because
yeah,
it's on the end of my
yeah.
wand and I have to wipe it off.
Yeah,
So
I did have some. I know last time we talked about the top popping off, and I had that happen on one hive. And I go, so the way I've been clearing it is I have some leftover electric wire from, electric
Yeah.
fence.
Yeah.
And it just is the perfect fit. So I go
Yep,
over there.
that's
and
what I
grab the
use,
end of
yeah.
it. Yep, I grab the end of it and clear it out.
Yep. I have tie
and-
wire where Rick was an iron worker.
Yeah.
Just shove it in
So
there.
then,
Yeah.
then
Same thing.
done, I basically, because it popped way through, I redid it with some more.
Right. I did that
I
too.
did another
yeah.
like half. Okay.
Mhm.
The I posted on Women's a minute ago because I took a picture the other day or video. The one and only reason I dislike my slatted or not slatted, but my screen bottom boards is I lose a lot of oxalic.
Mhm. Yep.
Even with the board in there,
Sure.
there's
It
a
has
lot of
holes.
loss. I mean, is there anything besides those corrugated that you can think of, that any way to close that up, secure it better?
I don't.
that could-
Do you shut off your entrance?
I didn't, but I think I'm still relatively
night,
new
Brenda.
at doing the oxalic myself. So, like with my thing, anyway, I'm watching it. So I have different, one entrance, is like this. One
Mhm.
of a few of them, I have the plastic, Guardian Bee
Robbing,
entrance things
yeah.
on. So it's got the little holes.
Sure. So it is kind
Um,
of, yes, it is cut off. Yeah.
And
Well,
then
I
there's
talked to Cayman.
several that are just like that.
Yeah. I talked to Cayman and I wrote him on YouTube. I was listening and yes, he said my name and I know. But anyway, he said that if it's really, really hot out, he does not cut the entrance, but if it's not, then he does because he feels that it gets them covered. So I started, especially this fall before I left, the last 3 times, I just took a sheet and just made strips and I just put it on every one of them and just went through and, you know, and just put them on there. And of course, if it was wet, good night, Christy. If it's wet, it does better because mine
Yeah,
fell on the
Honestly-
ground and got wet and it was much better.
that's what
Honestly,
I do. I got a pair of jeans and I
Yeah.
tore up strips from the legs and I wet them and then put them across the front and it keeps things tighter.
Jeans
when
would
it's
be
wet.
better. Jeans
Yeah.
would be better.
So that residue, when you're done and that residue's on that, is that gonna be harmful to touch? You know what I mean?
I
Like,
always have gloves on. I'm
I know,
never
but-
barehanded.
Okay,
Oh, you mean
So-
later?
yeah. I'm thinking, you're not gonna think, oh, every time. I know I
Mhm.
won't. I'm brainless sometimes. So my thoughts are maybe just duct tape, a little piece of duct tape or something. Like right now we have reducers on. So in the summer it'd be a bigger piece, but like just do a little piece of duct tape
Yep,
right over it and
absolutely.
then throw it away.
Yep.
Okay. I need
Yeah,
to remember
for
to
sure.
do that.
Yeah, you could do that. And yes, they are very, very, very stinky. I picked one up and went by me without a mask on and choked. So yeah, I mean they are, yeah.
I have a
My my stuff so I've noticed when I'm done, I take the mask off and in the past, it's like that smell is overwhelming because it's
Oh, yeah.
on you. So I will
Yeah.
take my mask off last and then
Me too.
I will go in and I change my clothes right away. And this time I even went and showered because I didn't want to touch the baby or anything.
Right. Oh yeah,
before
no.
I got it
no.
off me.
Well, when
I
I have
have-
my go ahead.
I have a question. I have 1/4-inch plywood, I have all this extra, so I cut a piece of it to block my entrance when I turned it. I could just use that too, couldn't I?
Absolutely.
With a piece
Absolutely.
of I think and that's with duct tape. That's a piece of cake.
I did that with my one out yard and they all have solid, just boards on top. And I put it there just for oxalic acid and it's much nicer than using those materials. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Usually I don't block the front entrance. I just go through the back and.
Well, I
sneak.
never did either until I talked to Cayman. So, I mean, I did when I first started out with the wand thing.
Me too. With the wand, you kind of had to.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
the same as the
Well,
gun.
this
It
one,
just-
it's amazing. They came out white. And
Hmm.
so,
It just frustrates me how much like it looked like the one hive. So I need to go through and do some board maintenance on those little, corrugated
Yeah.
things. Some of them are a little too long or like I have trouble. So the one hive, I actually had to take the corrugated board off because I couldn't get the wand in the hole with the thing.
yeah.
So it literally looked like the dry ice fog all over the ground. It
Oh,
was like,
wow.
what a waste. It was like,
Huh.
what a waste.
Yeah.
But the other
Yeah.
thing that
And it's
concerned
gone
me,
up crazily.
yeah, so many of the bees are like up at the top.
Right.
I've got a few hives where like they're completely at the top, hanging on to the quilt box.
Now, Lori Miller, she puts a hole in the back, and that's where she does it, where we've always done it in the back. She does it at the top and it falls down on them.
Yeah. I've
So
heard
she has a plexiglass frame or beehive, and
Mhm.
she shows you what it does.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
that is
mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah,
So it does go down.
Well,
That
that
makes
makes sense.
sense.
It's heavier than air, so it would drop.
mm-hmm. And once again, if you did get residue, it would be on the frame and they would walk on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
How in the world does it harm? That's what I don't understand. How does it eat up the legs and whatever on the freaking mites, but it doesn't harm the bee? I don't
I
understand.
don't know. I don't know, but I'm very glad that it does.
Yeah.
So I don't know the scientific behind it, but yeah. I was going to tell you something and I let Kathy talk and now I can't remember what we were talking about. Anyway, but yeah, it's just whatever you think. When my bees come out white, then I feel good. And I feel like, I've given them enough and I don't have any my bottom boards are all solid and I still have some that leak out, not that much like what you're seeing. So I don't know if it's like on the sides, if you could take duct tape and, do that. And then even where your board that you pull out, do that.
You
I
know
don't
what?
know.
Is there any reason that you couldn't, instead of doing where I'm running into that board, I mean, all I have to do is just trim it off, but it never comes to mind until I'm doing the oxalic. Is
Uh-huh.
there any reason I couldn't just have a hole in the side and do it from the side?
Oh no, there's no reason. And if you're doing that, then think about doing it from the top. I'm gonna look at doing it from the top
Yeah.
and seeing.
I
And
have one hive that has such a long board in there that's got the screen bottom board because the screen's just towards the center. I just pull it out and hold the wand at the bottom of the screen and it just goes right up in there. And I don't have
Goes up?
any loss that comes out of that screen bottom board. And I do the whole thing from the bottom and I have proof that it works because I use the folders. Then I'll put the insert in, use the folders, and it is a good drop.
good. So maybe they're doing well and you just think they're not. So
The question about the top, the reason I started drilling in my bottom boards rather than the box is I wasn't hitting frames. Because before I could actually burn the side of the frame. So if you go on the top and you drill in, you might hit frames again.
yeah. Yeah. Well, now the problem is with me doing it, I would have to do it from the side because the way that my lids are made, I have a board right here, but on not all of them. And, then I could do it from the top because some of them are just, we didn't have that board put on our on our lid.
Hey, Barb.
Night,
Oh,
Barb.
good night, Barb. I didn't see that. Sorry.
You have to run.
Yeah, I'm going to. Good night.
Uh-huh. Good night.
I'm orally talkative, but I gotta run too. I gotta call a couple people. I said I'd call you back.
There's something else I was going to ask Phyllis about the oxalic.
Well, while
I
you're
think-
thinking about it, I just Googled about why oxalic acid kills mites but don't kill the bees.
Oh,
And
cool.
it says that it's through the lobes of the mite, there's direct access to the hemolymph, and that is how the oxalic acid penetrates the mite and kills her. Bees are not harmed by vaporization because they have a different mechanism at their adhesive lobes.
Oh,
Which I
Nice.
think is their antennas, right?
very interesting.
Very cool. Thank you, Tiffany. See, you are a
Thank you.
geek.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, I can use the
resourceful.
Google machine, y'all.
Yeah.
You're a researcher. Good job. Good job.
Thank you, ladies. Great evening.
Thank you.
On something. I'm gonna have to think on this for a second. Bye, Angie.
Bye, Angie. Thanks for coming.
Okay, I just did the oxalic. I know how much I used. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. If there's anybody there that wants to talk, I have to like talk it out. Dadgum. I'm just glad that I got the next. I was gonna wait. I hadn't done as many fall treatments as I wanted to. So I treated them on like the 28th or 29th of December, and I intended to wait a little longer, but I thought when I looked at, of course, I didn't go 3 days later. I went a couple weeks later and
Sure.
saw a significant amount of mites.
Good.
So I was
Good.
like, it's not going to hurt to do them now.
Right.
What the
Um,
crap?
Now you
Oh.
guys know that your bees will be starting up probably next month, starting to lay.
So, well, I think what it was is I'm concerned because the ones they're up so high and
Mhm.
getting decent treatment. Those ones that are like way up top.
Mhm.
So
They'll
I
get
don't
it.
know.
They'll walk around and they'll rub each other and but
They'll still come down through the hive to get out.
So, but isn't it just that night,
good night,
Tiffany?
Tiffany. Thank you for showing up and thanks for your help.
Isn't it just the vapor that when you're doing it that gets them? Isn't it just that smoke?
Yeah, it's on everything that's in there and they walk,
So
you know.
it's not just the vapor that gets on them right away. It's whatever's in the hive and they touch it still.
It's a crystallization because we always try to make sure that if we need to go through a hive, we go through that hive before we smoke them and then hopefully don't touch it for 3 to 4 days afterwards. Because, usually we're gloveless, so all that stuff gets on our hands.
Okay.
So, yeah. But I know I found out. Good
Night,
night,
Deb.
Debbie. Thanks for coming. That I started whenever I go to my out yards, I started taking a different jacket and a pair of sweatpants or something because I'll just strip totally off and throw all that in the back. And then if I'm out in the country, nobody sees me. And then I put those clothes that I bring with me and go to the next out yard or whatever, because I have had to either sit there like this and drive just so I can, get there and get out. And most of my windows are down. So yeah, it is. Of course, I don't, I do multiple 20 to 30 at a time. And,
That's what it was. I just remembered.
okay.
Okay. How long does it take you to go do we use a similar machine. How long does it take per hive?
Per hive?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 2 minutes. Yeah, they
Okay,
were
so
saying 20 seconds and it's like,
No, not with your new one. Not with your new one. Your Jono
Like
or whatever.
Jono, it's about that from the time that I pull it out, take the lid off, I'm counting all that. So it's about 2 minutes. Yeah,
See,
it takes.
I'm
Go
doing
ahead.
about 5 because I average about an hour to do my 12 hives.
Oh gosh.
So I'm wondering what I'm doing because I make sure are we supposed to, at what temperature do you add your oxalic?
Okay, mine is at 420.
Okay, mine's in the 400 when I add mine.
Okay.
And then
Where's it drop
takes
down to?
I've never paid attention.
Mine, sometimes it drops to like 286 or 326.
Okay. And then I basically will wait until I'm not really seeing smoke so much. And of course, when you pull the wand or the thing out, it'll have a little bit more smoke come out or whatever. But that I just wait until I don't see the smoke.
Oh, well, John told me because my lids were just disintegrating, just, burning all up. And so I wrote him and was like, that's all I'm doing is buying more lids. And, Debbie can contest. She just hooked me up some from Rob, and
2 years in a row.
yeah. And so, yeah. And so, but he told me when it gets to 418, to pull it out. Whether he said it'll still smoke, but you're not losing anything. And then I
Right.
take that off and I turn it upside down and let it cool and then go to another one. So,
So what I've been doing is once it's done, once I'm done seeing smoke, and then I go over and look, the temperature's usually in the like 4 teens to 420s. And I just put it right in the next, because I just,
Yeah,
I put
what I
the
do.
machine, I put it in the hole in the next one. I don't do this whole put the stuff in it, then put it in the hole, because I ran into problems with the smoke and not being able to see.
Oh, okay.
So I just
Yeah,
stick
that
it in
makes
the,
sense.
I
Mhm.
stick it in the hole. I get my next scoop, put it in the hole and put the lid on, and that it's just bam, bam, bam. But
Yeah.
it takes me about, it took me about an hour to do the 12 hives. So about
Mm.
5 minutes.
I did 40 and it was just a little over an hour.
Okay.
But I mean, of course I have some mess ups,
Yeah.
whatever, pop off or
But you're doing them twice too.
yeah. Yeah. And
That's-
the less you use, the faster it goes. Think
Yeah.
about that. So if you're putting your whole 10 in there, then it's burning the whole 10. And Debbie, since we started using less, do you find that with your gun? As soon as you put it in, it seems like it's almost done. And then
Yeah.
you're ready to get another
Yeah.
scoop in.
Mine's old school, so I heat mine up, or I'll put it in there and let it heat up, and then when it gets to its temperature, I
Mhm.
put my stuff in and slap down the lid, let that all smoke out, and then when I think it's done, I can tell by it quit smoking. I take the lid off, dump the next one in, put the lid on, and
Mhm.
smokes it out.
Yeah.
feel
And
like
if you're using a generator, then you can hear
Yeah,
it clicking in too. You
I'm
don't use
just
a
straight,
generator?
I'm straight into electric, but
Oh, okay.
so he was sweet and ran electric from our building out there.
Yeah,
I
that's
took
great.
my little shed, but one reason it takes a while, I'll need to time it, but it takes a little bit for it to actually start smoking. It might take a good minute for it to actually start smoking.
Sometimes. Sometimes. Is your bowl clean?
well,
I need to clean it.
it might be smoking on the inside. You just don't know it yet till it gets fumed out this way before you see it coming out the cracks and stuff. So it can be going in and just going up in the center.
Well, I usually will see it because it's in the bottom board. It's in the bottom board, and those screen bottom boards, it leaks out.
I don't have that problem.
Oh, I do.
I just use mine.
With a corrugated plastic thing pushed in?
I need to
Yeah.
trim mine off. I need to
Yeah,
trim
I
mine
do.
back really bad. That's what I'll do. I just was thinking too, if I trim them back really good, I could even put one of those binder clips on the end of it, anywhere on it, and just pull it
Yep.
straight out.
You
Easy
know what?
peasy.
I've been carrying needle nose pliers
Yeah.
in my pocket and just reach in and pull it.
Well, Mark Lilly did a presentation last week, Debbie, if you remember, but he has a had a possum, and she would pull it out and eat all the larvae off of it. And they caught her red-handed. They were there working on the bees, and she
Awesome.
pulled it out. Yeah, a possum. And then he said, yes, she did go around and she ate bees.
Wow. That
Yep.
sucks.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
My biggest issue here is raccoon. We
I
do
would say
have
they would do the
we do
same
have-
thing.
around, yeah. We do have possums around, but I've had more problems with my bees and my chickens are right next to one another, but I've had more issues with the possums or the raccoons getting my chickens.
Oh, sure. We killed 4 in 2 days when we raised chickens. Yep. And the thing is, we had no idea it was raccoons because we would find scars on their head and they would kill them and just suck the blood out of them. And it's like, and then Rick killed four raccoons in 2 days and not a problem since then, except for the bear. And he just came for the feed.
Hmm.
So, yep.
Well, I'm intent on doing more with my bees this year, even though I've
Good.
got this dude. I'm struggling with trying to find a balance, just day to day, trying to find time to be able to like work. I can't get these knuckleheads to understand.
Right. You just gonna
It's-
have to set your, I'm gonna take this off.